So Cenk Uygur and Randy Fine had a debate on Piers Morgan Uncensored, and it is just the most cathartic debate I've ever listened to. Randy Fine is one of the most disgusting people in our government. He is openly genocidal towards the Palestinians, and it is just so satisfying to see Cenk completely tear him down, using his own words against him. It's just amazing. So we're going to watch this, and we're just going to applaud Cenk here.
I agree that there are barbarians inside the gate, and that's Randy Fine. Randy Fine is a sick terrorist sympathizer. In fact, if he wants America to do terrorism on Israel's behalf, he has said we should nuke Gaza. That's killing millions of innocent children and human beings and civilians. But he doesn't care. He only cares about Israeli lives. By the way, the Israelis have murdered now nearly a dozen Americans in the West Bank. No accountability from our government. And people like Randy Fine say we owe Israel. We owe Israel a genocide. We owe Israel $300 billion. We owe them no accountability at all when they kill American citizens. They had a pervert Israeli government official that came here in Vegas and tried to rape our children, and we let him go? That's insane. Randy Fine, are you asking for the sick Israeli government to return the pedophile so he could face justice here? No, Randy Fine represents Israel, not America. Everybody knows that. He also said we should starve all the Gazans. So he's right. There's a sickness inside our government. AIPAC and the Israeli lobby have given to 90% of Congress. They've given him $500,000, and that was a giant waste because he works for Israel already. So, Randy, we're all sick of your terrorist sympathies towards Israel. They have committed 75 October 7th. Their civilian kill ratio is 83%, worse than Hamas, worse than any terrorist organization. They have murdered 256 journalists, more than all other conflicts combined. They murdered 104 people today, including 46 children. They burned them alive. And we're sick of Israeli terrorism, and we're sick of people like you forcing good Americans. I love this country. I didn't come here to be a occupied territory of Israel. I came here because I love America and the freedom and the equality and the justice that comes with it. If you think your grandparents who came here were not loyal to America, that's your business. But no, most of the people that come here come because we absolutely love this country and not Israel. Why don't you go to the Knesset, brother? Everybody knows you love Israel and you despise Palestinians and you love Israeli terrorism. Why don't you move to Tel Aviv already?
Okay. All right, Cenk.
Cenk came in, he did not hold anything back, and we must appreciate it. Look at this guy's smug face. He's like, if we look at his soulless, dead eyes, he knows that everything that Cenk just said is 100% true, but, he has to look confident, so he's going to get his little smirk on. Look how fat this guy is. This guy's a complete fat ass, and he's talking about the Palestinians starving in Gaza, and he actually supports it. He said, stop the trucks, let them eat rockets. There are plenty of those, #bombs away. So this absolute massive man supporting starving children. And like Cenk said, he said that we should nuke. Let me find the exact quote. We nuked the Japanese twice in order to get unconditional surrender. That needs to be the same here. All these World War II analogies that the Zios like to make, it's just so embarrassing. Like when you apply any type of like historical context, it's just so embarrassing how little anything applies. Like, oh, Germany was like the strongest military. Like, I guess in this case talking about Japan, but Japan had a way stronger military than Hamas has ever had. The Palestinians are occupied. There's just so many problems. One, we as a society, a civilization, globally decided that like nuking those cities was bad. We don't, and like the bombing of Dresden, which the Zios also always use, is bad. We don't look at those and think, oh, like most normal people don't look at those events and be like, okay, yeah, that is how it should be done. And we made the Geneva Conventions in order to make it so that stuff doesn't happen. But Randy Fine doesn't give a fuck about those. He just cares about murdering Palestinian children. But yeah, let's see his response.
Let Randy Fine respond. Randy.
Well, thank you, Piers, and thank you for the surprise debate. I actually enjoy that. Look,
Oh yeah, and shout out Piers for just completely ambushing Randy, because there's no way Randy would have actually agreed to this, and he deserved it. He is a total piece of shit, and I'm sure even Piers is like kind of like a Zio, like I defend Piers a lot more than most people on the pro-Palestinian side. but a lot of the stuff he does is like so Zio focused. Like he treats the Zionists with way too much respect. But yeah, him ambushing Randy with Cenk is so freaking funny. Shout out, Piers.
Concept in Islam called taqiyya, where you're allowed to lie in advance of your political views. And you just got a great crash course.
Cenk isn't even Muslim. If you're an Arab person, you now get accused of taqiyya. GG.
Great crash course. All of those things were nonsense. But the notion that I am more loyal to Israel than I am the United States is part of it. Israel is fighting a war of civilization on our behalf. The reason we need a Jewish state of Israel is because of the Muslims that surround it. And so I stand with Israel because I
move to their neighborhood. Complains about being around people in neighborhood. Nice.
I believe Israel is fighting the same fight that we have here in the United States, the same fight that people like Mandami and Cenk, wealthy Muslims who move here in order to change the complex and the nature of our country, are going to do it. And I won't apologize for that. I am very proud of my views. I'm very proud of my faith. I'm proud to be the first member of Congress in the history of the United States to wear a yarmulke, which you may be able to see on my head. And I know that drives them crazy because we're not supposed to do that. But they gave me the nickname the Hebrew Hammer for a reason, and I'm not going to be afraid to use it.
So he just said a load of he just said nothing. I'm wearing a yarmulke. I'm Jewish. Anti-Semitic. Oh wow, I've never heard those. I've never heard those lines before.
Oh, but Randy Fine, when you said I don't give a shit. Hang on, Cenk. Randy Fine, when you said I don't give a shit about Gaza, were you proud of that statement?
Well, I think the context there is Gaza attacked Israel on October 7th. Of the thousands of people who streamed across the border to kill every man, woman, and child that they could, many of them, thousands of them, were not, quote unquote, card-carrying members of Hamas. And so when you start a war and you are losing the war, if you do not like what that is doing to you, then you surrender in that war. Gaza chose to be the enemy. Gaza chose to attack Western civilization. And no, I didn't care what happened. It was my view that if they didn't like it, they needed to surrender. Something, by the way, they still haven't done, because yesterday the Gazans killed another IDF soldier in a place that even under the peace deal, they are allowed to be.
Why do you call them?
I don't care historically about the Germans.
Randy Fine, but I've not had actually any guess. I have to be honest here. I've not had any guest who has used the phrase Gazan rather than Hamas, given it was specifically Hamas that perpetrated the appalling terror attacks on October the 7th. It is Hamas that has the governmental power still in Gaza. It's not the Gazan people. It's not the civilian population. So why are you deliberately conflating Gazans in totality with Hamas when Hamas numbers may be 40, 50,000 maximum out of 2 million? Data brokers track everything you do online.
It's because he's a genocidal bigot, Piers. Why are you even asking? You know, there's no other reason to do that.
Because that is a propaganda lie. I'll give you 2 points. Number one, thousands of the people who streamed across the border on October 7th were not members of Hamas. That has been well established. Thousands of people came across the border who were so-called civilians. And second, polling
so-called civilians
just came out today. Polling just came out today that said if an election were held in Gaza today, Hamas would win overwhelmingly. Does that mean every Gazan supports Hamas? No, it does not. But to try to differentiate the two attempts to imply that some small percentage of Gazans support or like Hamas. That is not what the data suggests. And we should not allow us to say these two are completely different, Gazans and Hamas, because they are not.
All right. So Randy Fine. So when, for example, the United States, along with my country, the United Kingdom, and others, waged what many believe to have been an illegal war against Iraq in 2003, with the catastrophic consequences of 1 million deaths, the rise of ISIS, and so on. Is your position then that in that circumstance, every single civilian American is equally culpable to the military that waged that illegal war, and therefore any repercussions against any Americans on mainland America would be justified? Because that's what you're saying.
No, it's not what I'm saying. But I would note in the war that Israel has fought against Gaza, the percentage of civilians who have died versus the percentage of combatants is far lower than we saw in that war. Yet the outrage perpetrated.
He's lying, and, you know, they just, it's so cool having these One, Randy Fine doesn't have dual loyalty; he has single loyalty to Israel, and it's so cool having these single loyalty congressmen that shit on our country and literally make up lies about our country's military just to make their genocidal state look better. That they're not even a part of. Randy Fine's a part of our country, by the way, and he's saying bullshit like we were worse than the IDF when we have never. I mean, if we're talking about civilians killed, that's different than the IDF has an 83% civilian kill rate. We have never come anywhere close. I mean, I don't think we've ever come anywhere close to that. So he's just lying.
Against Israel in a war where almost 1,000 IDF soldiers have died in order to minimize the casualties in Gaza. If Israel had wanted to wipe Gaza off the map, it could have done that.
It is wiped off the map, but he knows that, and he's just a lying piece of shit.
But it didn't because it wanted to minimize the death that was over there. The only difference between Gaza and Israel is Israel has the capability to do what it is accused of and chooses not to. Gaza does not have the capability to execute the genocide that it wants to because Israel stops it.
I've never heard that one before. If we put down our weapons, if they put down their weapons, there would be peace. If we put down our weapons, we would be holocausted. Never heard that one before.
Fundamental difference between the two sides.
All right, Cenk, your final response before we let Randy Fine go.
Yeah, so as you've seen, he's constantly referring to the Muslims that surround Israel. They're the real problem. It's open bigotry. He's not even hiding it. And then he'll go and hide behind the human shields of good, innocent Jewish Americans and say, oh, no, if you criticize Israel, you're actually criticizing Jewish Americans, which no one did. It's the dirtiest trick in the using the anti-Semitism card to protect his form of terrorism that he supports, which Jewish Americans do not support. And so he says it's okay to kill the Gazans, which is collective punishment. He's not only said to nuke them and starve them, but he just said it right here on this air. He's a deeply sick man who wants to put a moral stain on this country by forcing us to fund the genocide of the Palestinians. They have already done 75 October 7th, but it's never enough murder for Randy Fine. They've already killed a stadium full. Imagine 20,000 murdered children lit on fire, their heads exploded. Israel did all of that. And Randy Fine is saying it's not enough. Americans, go work another shift because you got to send Israel more money to kill more Palestinian children and put that on America's soul. Don't listen to this guy. He doesn't believe in America. His whole point is to make sure that we fund his beloved Israel and their sick, disgusting terrorism.
Just call me a dirty
Israel
Jew.
is the largest terrorist entity.
Trot it out. Come on,
nobody said that. You're the only one who says it. You're the sick, disgusting Muslim bigot.
Come on.
No one wants anti-Semitism. The only person who wants anti-Semitism is you because you want to hide behind it. You bring up your yarmulke when no one else did. No one minds your yarmulke except you brought it up as if like you're some sort of victim. You're the one who wants to nuke over a million people.
I'm not a victim at all.
You're not a victim.
I relish
you're a disgusting terrorist sympathizer.
Like you.
And you should not be inside the United States Congress.
Verbal terrorist. That's okay. And also, let's just point out how pathetic is this guy? Just call me a dirty Jew already. I know you're an anti-Semite. Like, bro, you're an embarrassment. Like, you can't argue. Like, I mean, of course he can't. They have no real arguments. But like playing the victim is just so cringe. And like playing the victim while murdering a shit ton of babies. Like, what's wrong with you? It's just the Zionist mentality, I guess. I guess it's not really specific to him. But it's just so crazy how Cenk can say absolutely nothing anti-Semitic, and then it's just call me a dirty Jew. Like, shut up.
You're a stain on this country.
And all of your fellow invaders.
You are trying to occupy America, so you steal our money.
I was born here.
To send money over to Israel to steal Palestinian and Arab and.
He said, "I was born here. We're not occupying it." I mean, a lot of the Israelis weren't born there, but that has no bearing on whether or not you're occupying something if you're born in the place.
Muslim land. And on top of that, Piers, one thing that's important is pro-Israel people like Randy Fine have spread hatred and fear of Muslims in this country my entire life. They have tried to get everyone to hate Muslims so that they could say, oh, look, now Israel is defending Western civilization. You should murder all the Muslims and you should let Israel take all of their land because we are defending Western civilization. And then they have the audacity to complain about anti-Semitism.
Do you mind if I make one closing remark?
They are the biggest in the country.
If you need
this
me
is
to,
a
go,
literally for mass murder.
Randy.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make it clear to viewers before you, Randy. I'll give you one final response because, to be fair to you, you did not know you would be engaging in a wider debate with other panelists. I decided to bring Cenk in because you called him a barbarian invading the United States. I think if you do that about a panel member, they're entitled to respond. He's now obviously responded angrily and passionately to you. I'll give you one last word back, and then we're going to move back to the panel.
I would note I did not do that on the show. You could have warned me in advance. But again, I don't mind. I don't mind having the debate. I would note this: if Islamophobia was the big issue that Cenk makes it out to be, Mamdani would not have had to lie and make up an aunt that did not exist, who is not in the United States, dealing with so-called Islamophobia after 9/11. If the problem was real, the stories would be endemic and they would be everywhere. So people need to not believe the nonsense. The fact of the matter is, if you hear someone yell Allahu Akbar walking down the street, you're probably going to take cover. Fear of Islam is rational. Doesn't mean all Muslims are bad. They are not. But this concern that many Americans have and that they have in your home country, it is real. And I thank you for having me on your show today. Happy to come back anytime.
Okay, Randy Fine, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much. We're going to go back to the panel now, who've been waiting patiently.
Shout out Cenk for the absolute W on this piece of shit. You know you're winning against Zionists when they start crying about anti-Semitism. As soon as he pulls out, just call me a dirty Jew, that's when you know you've won. There's one more clip from this that we got to watch, and this woman is apparently Stephen Miller's wife. And she's going to literally advocate for Cenk's deportation. So let's find that clip.
Killed. And it wasn't even by Hamas. Are you kidding me, Piers?
So they're talking about the IDF literally just struck and killed another 100 people, 46 children, disgusting monsters.
So they're occupying 53% of Gaza right now. So shouldn't they get the hell out of Gaza? Yeah. So one of their SS soldiers gets killed, and we're supposed to shed a tear for the occupiers? In reality, they murdered 46 children. They murdered 46 children today, Piers. I can't stand the terrorism of Israel.
But you know what, Cenk? When you call the IDF SS soldiers and you compare them directly to the Nazis, and you know they're Jewish,
and this is where I talk about Piers being a little bit too cooked to the Zios. Like, bro, they're more pressing issues at the moment than if we describe a genocidal country as Nazis. This virtue signaling is so stupid. Like, Piers pretty much completely agrees with us that like what Israel is doing pretty much amounts to genocide, but he's like, oh, don't call them Nazis though, because it might hurt their feelings. Like, bro, shut up.
I'm not Jewish, and I find that horrible.
No, I don't even really believe him. I just think he's like virtue signaling because he thinks that's the I think he's just virtue signaling.
No. Israel does. Hold on. Let me explain. So Israel does not get a pass on committing another genocide because Jewish people suffered the Holocaust. What happened in the Holocaust was disgusting.
You don't get a pass for calling them the SS.
Hold on. So what happened in the Holocaust and all the pogroms were disgusting. That doesn't mean that Israel, pretending to represent Jews across the world, gets to commit another genocide upon a totally innocent people and collective punishment and murdering children over and over again.
Okay, did you guys catch what she said? Let me go back really quick.
So what happened in the Holocaust and all the pogroms were disgusting. That doesn't mean
you better check your citizenship application and make sure everything was filled out correctly. So there she is, threatening Cenk. Okay, well, I'm upset at the words you said, so I'm gonna try to get you deported. Jesus. And these are the people we have running our country, or like her husband. Disgusting. And the only opinion that would ever get you to have any type of threat for this is the Israel opinion. Yeah. So this woman is deranged. Cenk is 100% correct as usual. But you know, some people, they just can't handle hearing the truth, so they will just try to silence you. But hey, this is America. If she wants to try to get Cenk deported for his opinions, good luck getting through the courts. Okay, it's gonna be for this video, guys. If you liked it, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and have a good one.